Today I want to talk about some fascinating traditions and lesser known aspects of Jewish life.
What's interesting is that many of their customs are quite similar to those in Islam. For example, Jews greet each other by saying Shalom Aleichem, which means peace be upon you, very similar to the Muslim greeting Assalamu Alaikum. Jews pray 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and evening. These prayers, mostly in the form of supplication, are somewhat similar to the Muslim practice of daily prayers. Some even wash in a way that's similar to ablution in Islam before praying. They also have a call to prayer called Barichu, which is kind of like the Islamic Adhan or Azan. When entering a synagogue, both men and women are expected to cover their knees, elbows, and heads. Praying with the head uncovered is not allowed. During prayer, they often rock their heads gently, not randomly, but to help stay focused during worship. Throughout this video, we will also explore some fascinating questions. What is the ultimate fate of the Jewish people? And perhaps even more intriguing, how did they become one of the wealthiest communities in the world? If these questions interest you, be sure to watch the video all the way to the end. The most important insights are yet to come. Judaism, like Islam, has clear rules about what food is allowed and what's forbidden. In Judaism, allowed food is called kosher. Pork, rabbit, and camel meat are all forbidden. For meat to be kosher, it has to be slaughtered in a specific religious way by a trained person using special tools. Many restaurants and food companies get a kosher certification to show their products follow these rules, just like halal certification in the Muslim world. For many Jews, these traditions are not just religious, they are part of their daily life and identity. In Jewish belief, there are strict dietary laws that followers take very seriously. One of the key rules is that meat and dairy products must never be eaten at the same time. For example, if someone drinks milk at lunch, they must wait at least 6 hours before eating any meat. This rule even affects how kitchens are set up. In many Jewish homes, there are separate sets of dishes for meat and dairy, and they are washed in different sinks to avoid any mixing. In Israel, you can even see this reflected in popular fast food chains. For example, there are 2 types of McDonald's, regular ones and kosher certified ones. At kosher McDonald's locations, milk-based items like milkshakes or ice cream are sold in a completely separate area, just to ensure meat and dairy are never served together. Jewish law also states that wine and alcoholic drinks must be produced by a Jewish person in order to be considered kosher and allowed for drinking. Another important Jewish holiday widely celebrated in Israel is Passover, called Pesach in Hebrew. Around 78% of Jewish people in Israel take part in this holiday. During Passover, for 6 or 7 days, eating any food made with yeast or leavened dough is strictly forbidden. In fact, the day before the holiday, many families burn any leftover bread or leavened products in their homes. Preparing the kitchen for Passover is also a big deal. Everything must be cleaned thoroughly to remove even the smallest trace of dough. Dishes are washed with boiling water, and some families go even further, wrapping countertops and kitchen surfaces with aluminum foil to prevent contact with anything non-kosher for Passover. Some people even cover entire kitchens in foil to make sure no contaminations happens. Jewish religious traditions also include rules about modesty. In some communities, women are not allowed to show their hair, not even to their children, only to their husbands. That's why some women wear wigs or headscarves. In 2013, there was an unusual incident that went viral. A Jewish man, while flying on a plane, wrapped himself in what looked like a large plastic bag. Why? Because certain ancient Jewish laws say that descendants of the priestly class are not allowed to go near cemeteries. Since the plane was flying over a cemetery, he came up with this strange but sincere solution to honor his religious beliefs while still making the journey. In Jewish tradition, boys from the age of 5 start wearing a special hairstyle called peyot. This means they leave the hair on the sides of their heads long while shaving the middle part. Newborn baby boys are circumcised on the 80th day after birth. During the ceremony, a drop of wine is placed in baby's mouth as part of the ritual. There is an interesting mourning custom among Jews. When someone hears about the death of a loved one, they immediately tear a piece of their clothing. Then, for 7 days, they stay at home, don't shave or cut their hair, and don't wash. For a whole year, they light a candle in a memory of the deceased. Jews believe they are descendants of the 12 sons of the prophet Jacob. According to the Torah, one day Jacob was traveling when a mysterious man appeared and told him, "Before you can continue on this path, you must wrestle and defeat me." They wrestled until dawn, and eventually Jacob won. Jews believe that this man was actually God himself in human form. Because of this, Jacob was given the name Israil, meaning he who struggles with God. Many Jews believe they are the chosen people because God made a special covenant with them. According to some, there are 2 types of beings on earth: humans and animals. Everyone except Jews is considered an animal, created to serve the Jewish people. For this reason, non-Jewish are called goy, which in Hebrew literally means cow. In Jewish belief, there is a covenant called the Acht, which is an agreement with God. They believe that because of their faith, God promised them the land that is now known as Palestine. That's why they refer to these lands as the Promised Land or Holy Land. Jewish identity passes through the mother's side, meaning a child is Jewish only if the mother is Jewish. Therefore, Jewish men are traditionally not allowed to marry outside the Jewish faith. In Judaism, religious leaders are called rabbis. Before marriage, a couple is not allowed to meet in private, and the day before the wedding, both the bride and groom are expected to fast as a way to spiritually prepare for their new life together. Surprisingly, according to Jewish law, it's allowed for someone to marry their uncle's or aunt's child, meaning a man can marry his cousin on either his father's or mother's side. One of the most important traditions in Judaism is Shabbat. It starts at sunset on Friday and ends at nightfall on Saturday. During this time, Jews take a complete rest. All forms of physical work are forbidden, including cleaning, cooking, drawing, bathing, and even putting on makeup. Some won't even use elevators or turn lights on and off. That's why in Jewish tradition, the week begins on Sunday right after Shabbat ends. Another major holiday is Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. On this day, Jews fast for 25 hours and completely disconnect from daily life. In Israel, even airplanes stop flying and streets are empty of cars. People use bicycles instead. The Torah is very difficult to understand on its own, which is why its commentary, the Talmud, is widely studied. However, women are generally discouraged from reading such religious texts. The most prominent groups among Jews are the Haredi and Hasidic communities. They strongly reject modernity. In Haredi families, a woman typically gives birth to around 7 children. Some critics claim that Haredi communities view women primarily as childbearing machines. Due to their high birth rate, it's projected that by the 2050s, 1 in every 3 people in Israel will be Haredi. Haredim usually do not work. They devote their lives entirely to the Torah and religious studies. The government provides them with a monthly financial stipend. They consider television to be a satanic device, oppose military service, and often criticize those who choose to enlist. Because of their complete rejection of modernity, they use only the most basic phones that meet their religious standards. That's why special kosher smartphones, phones that are permitted by religious law, are made specifically for them. According to Haredi belief, Jews should not establish a state of their own until the Messiah comes. For this reason, they do not recognize the legitimacy of the state of Israel. In ultra-Orthodox Jewish communities, secular education is not provided. Children grow up isolated from technology, vocational skills, and the modern world. Those who live the ultra-Orthodox lifestyle often describe themselves as completely unaware of the outside world, like newborns just beginning to learn everything from scratch. In Jewish culture, teaching children about business and money from an early age is considered very important. There is even a well-known saying, if you don't teach your children how to earn money, they learn how to steal it. That's why financial education is a key part of Jewish upbringing and tradition. Among Jews, there is also a common belief. When are you truly successful? When you are able to save more than half of what you earn. In business, Jewish communities often emphasize the intelligence and creative marketing strategies. For example, imagine 2 coffee shops. One simply sells coffee, but the other has a sign that says, a portion of every purchase goes to help poor children in Africa. Which one would you buy from? Most people would choose the second one. Many believe that the curtain of the Day of Judgment is beginning to rise through the current conflicts, especially the ongoing clash between Palestine and Israel. The respected scholar Abu Bakr Sifil warns us, these wars will rage on, with the Zionists relentlessly expanding their territories. All these events are building up to a colossal Armageddon, a final epic battle. This ultimate fight will be between Zionist Jews and Muslims. Ancient Hadiths also speak of this decisive confrontation, pinpointing its location as the Amik Valley, situated in the southern part of modern-day Turkey. According to various sources, just before this catastrophic war erupts, a fragile peace agreement might be signed, but this peace will be short-lived, lasting only as long as a woman's pregnancy, a brief and fleeting moment. Then suddenly, brutal war will break out, shaking the world to its core. Thus, at this pivotal moment in world history, each of us must pay close attention to these events and deeply understanding their meaning, because the future depends on the actions we take today. Subscribe for more content like this.